the Experienced Pros Radio Show, home of the original Fan Braggin' Fridays. Take just 20 seconds to become a business revolutionary by sharing a fan bragging story of great customer service by using the hashtag FanBrag or calling the Fan Bragging Hotline at 855-FAN-BRAG, FANBRAG. Now back to Angel and Eric, the Experienced Pros.
Hello, friends, and thank you so much for tuning in to this, the home of positive business talk. It is the Experienced Pros Radio Show, and Gail Snyder sitting in for Angel. Thanks for being here.
You betcha.
You make a great co-host.
Thank you.
I'm super grateful.
Hey,
and it is our privilege to reintroduce you. There's no stranger to this program at all. Janiece Rendon, who specializes in career transition, is here today to talk about the big change, or the big modifier, if you will, when it comes to interviewing for your next position. Janiece Rendon, welcome to the Experienced Pros Radio Show.
Hi, thank you. Super
great to have you on the program. Now, Janiece, when we talk about career transition, as I was describing it to Gail before you came into the studio, I said, Janiece is a specialist at making the transition from you were working at a place, but now you are not working at a place, whether by way of being fired or released or phased out, or you just quit, and going into the next job, the next career line of work. You really helped that transition, and you know a thing or two about that.
I do. And another thing is that I've been planning for my retirement for 20 years. So it's really important to know what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Just in case the job ends. You just never know.
Right.
All right. So when we talked about this segment earlier, I asked you, what's the biggest problem that people in transition are facing? And you mentioned to me that it's that people lack confidence.
Yes. It really takes a toll on your confidence when you get laid off, because you start really questioning, what do I really know? What am I good at? They're letting me go, but it's not about that. It's usually a business decision. And so, look at it in a different light. It really makes a difference.
When you talk about looking at it in a different light, going to come at this from two different angles. We're going to talk about the person who is in that transition. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the hiring managers who are facilitating this next stage, maybe, right?
Yes.
Talk, if you will, if somebody comes into the interview and they lack confidence, what is the risk to hiring managers?
Oh, it shows. They talk about how their old job did this and that and that, and they complain. Don't bring that to the interview.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. When you walk in that door, you want to smile. You bring in that smile and you bring in that confidence. And the number one thing is you ever heard of Brene Brown? And she does those power poses.
I'm not aware of Brene.
Oh gosh.
Where's she from?
I don't know. She did a TED Talk. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was Brene Brown. But anyways, you go in the bathroom and you do these power poses, and you get that energy flowing before you walk into that interview, or you go for a walk. Because I do that thing, walking with Janiece.
Yeah.
And so, especially if you're going for an interview today, go and do your walk. Get that energy flowing before you walk in there. Get that blood flowing. But bring in that smile first thing you want to do.
Your baggage at the door.
Exactly.
I love that. And hiring managers might miss the right person if they lack the confidence, or if they come in and you could even be the right person for the job, but if you come in complaining, you will not get that job.
Well, let me tell you, on the last job at the place that I got laid off, I walked in and there was 4 or 5 people interviewing me, and they're like, wow, I don't understand why you're so positive. I mean, you are so close to retirement, and this is huge for you. And I said, you know what? I can't control them laying me off, but I can control my attitude.
Janiece,
that's beautiful.
That got me hired. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Janiece has been laid off from the same company 5 times, folks.
Yes.
No, she's been rehired.
Oh, there you go. I like
she
that.
has been rehired.
I love
more
it.
than that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So you're right. Attitude is key.
You betcha. Sometimes you might feel like you've got the skills, the strength, and the attributes to get the job, but if you don't believe in yourself, it will disarm. Janiece Rendon is our guest today. And Janiece, where do we send people to find out more information about your work?
Well, should we tell them
Sure.
about? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first thing I want you to do is go to www.nailyournextinterview.com. I have a free 5 tips to nail your next interview, and it is pretty good, I'm thinking.
Nailyournextinterview.com. I'm looking at the report here, folks.
It's beautiful.
It is 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, 3 pages of wow.
Just things to do.
Information and
Before and after. You bet.
Well, and the neat part, Janiece, on this is the nailyournextinterview.com.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's in that position of transition is going to remember that. But your contact information is on the bottom of every page.
Oh, of course.
You.
Yes.
When you look at it and you go, wow, this is really good advice, but I want more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an easy way to, I want more of you. I want to learn more from you.
Yeah, I mean, I have just
That's
a tad
huge.
of experience, and so I appreciate Eric for giving me the title of this form here. But I think there's some great information to take with you going to the interview. Researching the company, and I'm not going to give you all the tips here because you can go to my website and download it for free.
Awesome.
I love this on so many different levels. Nailyournextinterview.com. Janiece Rendon, a career and transition specialist. You've got to connect with her. Janiece, let's go back and talk a little bit about how to affect some of the solutions. If somebody is lacking confidence, they don't believe in themselves, they're displaying self-sabotaging behaviors in the interviews. The solution, you start with eliminating self-talk. Talk to me about how the value of putting self-talk in the rear view and replacing that with healthy words of affirmation.
Well, a great thing to do is find a coach or get around people who are positive, because sometimes when we get stuck in that rut and we're going down that tunnel, we don't really realize the language that we're using, especially in our own self-talk, but it comes out of our mouth. So if you're around people that are positive, they might call you on it, and ask them to call you on that, because we don't hear ourselves sometimes.
Yeah. And it's just another resource for our listeners. And we've met and have interviewed Shad Helmstetter, who wrote the book. He's got several different books, but he wrote the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, and then the Self-Talk Revolution, or Self-Talk Solution. And both of these talk about neuroplasticity. And Gail, I know this probably comes as a surprise that I actually knew that 5-syllable word, but I do.
And that you applied it to the brain.
Right. But it's a big thing. How about removing limiting beliefs? Do people come in with their own can't, won't type of beliefs?
Yes, because maybe they were in a job that they weren't good at, or they were in a job that didn't satisfy them. So they put their own limiting beliefs on themselves. So when you get laid off or when you get let go, you have this limit. So you don't know how to go out there and reach for a higher job. And when you're going out there to interview, the big thing, and it's in my pamphlet here, is, you're interviewing them. And like you guys were talking about earlier, it's a conversation.
That's right. That's right. Wow. You just dropped a huge gem on our listeners. When going into your next interview, remember that it's not just them interviewing you, it's you interviewing them. You got to get these 5 tips to nail your next interview at nailyournextinterview.com, nailyournextinterview.com. It just makes all the sense in the world. And then, you kind of just kind of support the process of walking into an interview, especially if you're later in life, right?
Oh yeah.
You talk about looking back on the last 30 to 60 days and go in with a full head of steam by recognizing what you've accomplished.
Exactly. Sit down, take time, and write down what you're good at. What are your skill sets? We don't do that before an interview.
Yeah.
And so when you have that on the back of your mind and you walk in, you already know what you're good at.
It's not a surprise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't just sit there, let's see, I'm good at, no, you walk in there prepared.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can establish confidence. And of course, the lack of confidence is a killer to your next career move, but you can establish confidence by following Janiece's points here.
One of my favorite lines you have in here is you get to choose where you want to work and whom you want to work with.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's not just them picking you. It's you're interviewing there for a reason. Maybe we're not a fit.
right? I mean, the culture,
Right.
how they dress.
Right.
I mean,
Maybe we're not a fit.
You are going
or
to
maybe
be with
we
that
are.
company.
But it's just as much my choice as it is theirs
Yeah.
at the same. That's really
50,
cool.
60 hours a week.
That's
I
a huge
am-
empowering statement.
I am the fluffy white filling in the Oreo of career transition here, folks. I'm telling you what, you gotta go to nailyournextinterview.com. Nailyournextinterview.com. Janiece Rendon, you rocked it like always. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
How fun to meet you.
And Gail,
Thanks. Nice to meet
you got a new BFF.
Yay.
I'm super
I
glad
looked
that
at your
you're here
Facebook
too.
picture. I went, oh my goodness, she looks like so much fun.
Aw.
And you are.
We'll be back.
Thank you.
America's home for positive business talk. You're listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show.